guys, my name is Hoàng Anh, and today I'm going to talk about world hunger. So now I'm going to talk about what is hunger, the cause of hunger, the problem that hunger makes, who benefits my presentation and what impact would it bring, and the last is the solution to end hunger. So this problem must be discussed because hunger is a global issue. Yeah, it's very big. So what is global hunger anyway? It's not just skipping meals because there's not enough food to go around. 3 issues, that is climate change, conflict and COVID-19, that can increase the risk of children going hungry. Millions of people are in that situation. Floods and droughts, made worse by climate change, can destroy crops and livestock of many people. In Yemen, a country suffering through an intense conflict for the last 6 years, 70% of population have no food, disrupted supply chain due to COVID-19. Hunger plagues the streets of Philadelphia. So Philadelphia area contains 750,000 people struggling with hunger, a 20% increase over 6 years. The streets, the corners of everything. So the cause of hunger. Poverty is the principal cause of hunger. So the unequal distribution of income and lack of resources in developing countries mean that millions of people simply can't afford the land or food to make their lives better. So otherwise gain access to nutritious food. So the problem that hunger makes. Hunger is linked to almost half of all child deaths, weaken the immune system, making children more susceptible to illness. Undernourished children are more likely to grow into undernourished adults. So it's vital that children get treated well early. More important is ending the cycle of malnutrition with long-term political solutions. So access to health services and nutritious foods, improving water and sanitation and planning for food shortage and emergencies. So hunger is not just in Uganda. Like in Vietnam, sometimes I was going to school with my dad. I saw some homeless people peering out their old hands begging for food. Yeah, their home only had a rough carpet and a piece of cloth for blanket. They were old and torn out clothes that makes me feel like they are just wearing like some kind of like piece of cloth, like it's very torn out. Yeah, looking at them for a while, I feel horrible and bad for them. But Dad said, "Let's go or you will be late for school." Yeah, that's so bad and not good. So this is the solution to end hunger. Yeah, but it is impossible to end hunger. But I think education is the best weapon against poverty and hunger. So powerful in underdeveloped countries. Education means better opportunity and more access to income and food. Some countries have food for education programs where students are given free food for coming to school. Yeah, so this is the bonus. This is the differences between Mr. Rich and Mr. Poor. So this is Mr. Rich and this is Mr. Poor. The money is helping Mr. Rich and Mr. Poor is helping the money. It's so different in many ways. And you have to think that if you're a rich person, you could be very, very good. You can be anything. You want to do anything. You have the money to do it. So Mr. Rich has his boat built by himself. Mr. Poor only. Mr. Rich depends on his life, and Mr. Poor depends on like God's fairies. Mr. Rich wants to win, but Mr. Poor, he wants safety first. So Mr. Rich can do work to make money, but Mr. Poor, he just sleeps and dreams having money. So Mr. Rich has a plan to help the world, but Mr. Poor only had a plan to have an orange. Yeah. Mr. Poor likes to build up a strong structure and grow trees like he can do for money. But Mr. Poor only grew a little tree and all the worms ate it. Mr. Rich is very, very likely to take pictures with popular and rich person famous, but Mr. Poor doesn't like it. Mr. Rich likes to be friends with rich and helpful people, but Mr. Poor only likes to be friends with poor and homeless people. Mr. Poor likes to show up himself to be well good, and Mr. Poor, he's ashamed with himself. Mr. Rich always has a solution to big problems, but Mr. Poor is, I'm going to the bottom now. Mr. Poor likes to catch Mr. Rich likes to catch the opportunity to have money and time for work, but Mr. Poor, he doesn't like it at all. Mr. Rich does for money, but Mr. Poor just waits for time to get his earnings. Mr. Rich always has the richness and the peaceful of his life, but Mr. Poor doesn't have the richness. Mr. Poor is very poor. He doesn't have any money, so horses doesn't like him. He made the horse very dirty, but Mr. Rich has very good money. He takes care of the horse very well. So Mr. Rich likes to build up a structure for his earnings. He likes to save, but Mr. Poor doesn't even count his earnings. It's like puzzles. This is just one puzzle in here. Yeah, Mr. Rich always scares trouble to get to money, but Mr. Poor, he just runs away and doesn't come back. So this is the last picture. Mr. Rich wants to build up the world, money, healthcare, lend a hand. He likes very much books. And Mr. Poor, he knows, he's waving his hand like, no, I'm not getting to it. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.